Roxo Media House.
Motion comes Darius Davis, toss to him, running right, turns it upfield, running room, 30, 35, sprint, 40, down to midfield, he goes to the 40, and I gotta catch you, 20, 10, touchdown, Darius Davis, 80-yard reception from Max Duggan.
You are in the State of the Frogs, presented by the Railhead Smokehouse with TCU head coach Sonny Dykes, and also brought to you by Hub Fort Worth, Old Trapper Beef Jerky, Texas Health Resources, and by Cadillac. Now with the coach, here is the voice of the Frogs, Brian Esteridge.
Welcome into this edition of State of the Frogs with the head coach, Sonny Dykes. We come to you live here from the Union grounds in the Student Union at the Blue across the street from the athletic facilities here at TCU. Coming up a little bit later on, Coach Dykes, he's going to take time away from autographs to join us back in his office as we'll talk about the win over SMU. Impressive fashion for the Horned Frogs. Obviously set the tone early on. Did TCU and Dallas in the 101st meeting. Iron Skillet comes back to Fort Worth where it belongs. Also, we'll preview the matchup with Oklahoma. You got a Wounded Tiger coming into Amon Carter Stadium now Saturday at 11 o'clock as Oklahoma coming off the loss to Kansas State. Big time Big 12 battle on ABC coming up on Saturday at 11. We got our Where's the Beef question to come, and we're going to one-play breakdown for you on the key factor in Saturday's win for the Horned Frogs over SMU. Right now, though, Coach is going to continue to sign autographs. He's passing out free coffee to everyone here on the Monday as we get ready for Oklahoma week and we get ready for State of the Frogs with head coach Sonny Dykes, and it starts next.
Am I really hard to please? Perhaps I have such special needs. I wondered what was wrong with me.
35, bounces it out 40, 45, midfield, here's Miller
Called
down.
the first one Savage, more my mood, that's what it was. 2016 we was running around, beat up in the club. I know she around for the money, but act like she loyal. I
To his right, looking downfield, airs it in the end zone, it is caught for the score. Touchdown TCU, Savion Williams, his first one of the year. Hit the
got
hole.
BBLs, I might got push. I ain't with the rap beef, Draco, pedophile, all my ops get touched.
Hand it off this time, Miller right to his left, home. Ultimately goes 20, 15, 10, cut it back in the block, walking in the end zone. Watch his score, Kendrick Miller. Hit the horn from
I leave all my cars running, 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 running. All my ops be running, 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 running. Wipe his nose, it was running, 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 running. Savage never did no. That cause
running right, turns it upfield, running room. 30, 35, sprint, 40, down to midfield, he goes to the 40, and I gotta catch you. 20, 10, touchdown, Darius Davis, 80-yard reception. From Max Duggan.
I'm in the deal with the thieves. I know that she ratchet. I could tell by the way that she wearing weed. Smoking on Zaza, did came out the garden with Adam and Eve. Chopper go 5-5, shoot up your power out, trying to make y'all bleed. Got out of line, spanked that baby. We had to rock in the sleep. Is it an issue? Keep me a pistol. I ain't finna dish you. All that pillow talk, I'ma have to send the boogeyman to come get you. Chain hang low like a yo-yo. Grind hit like pogo.
To midfield, Dennis Arnold will sprint and score the senior. Second touchdown of the game.
Are things better or worse the second time around? Can we really do anything more than once?
The Hub Fort Worth family is a passionate, energetic team of insurance professionals that have the same common goal in mind: helping businesses and individuals protect their health, property, and financial well-being. Their objective is to maximize the options available to businesses, families, and individuals while helping you make the choices that suit each unique situation and challenge. Their clients look to them for guidance in navigating the cumbersome world of insurance and investments. Their experience and personal relationships combined with their creativity enables them to craft solutions that fit your specific circumstances. Their guiding principle is, don't tell me how much you know, just show me how much you care. Since their founding in 1966, they've enhanced their offerings to include a comprehensive range of services, including employee benefits, property and casualty, and personal lines insurance. Follow them and learn more on their social media pages. You can find them on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Hub Fort Worth.
Old Trapper Beefs. Tough snacks.
Out here, nothing comes easy. That's why you gotta be tough. truck, it's tough. My crew, definitely tough. But Old Trapper taught me the value of tenderness.
Old Trapper, what's your beef?
Oh, it's a puppy.
For exclusive interviews and content on TCU recruits, subscribe now at frogstoday.com. Any sport, anytime. It's your source for all things TCU. Only on frogstoday.com. Welcome back in. It's the third edition of State of the Frogs with the head coach Sonny Dykes alongside. We originate this show, of course, from his office here at TCU. We were just out at Union Grounds earlier where Coach was passing out free coffee, getting ready for Oklahoma this week. Coming off that win against SMU, the 101st meeting all time between the Frogs and the Ponies. Good to get the victory. I know that's a statement we could make every week, but this one was kind of a sense of relief, get it past you, right?
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of build-up for this game, and, certainly understandably, and it was good to go out and to start fast and get off to a good start. Wish we would have finished a little bit stronger, but I think we can learn some lessons from that and do a better job closing games out, and we're going to need to do that. But it was certainly good to get a win. It's always interesting when you play rivalry games. There's just a lot of things that can happen, and you see crazy things in college football every week. I mean, it's nuts, and you can't take anything for granted, and it was good to get a win.
One of the things I love about watching you from afar is you don't want it to be about you. And then at the end of the game, there was the chant of Sonny, 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 and you made a point of saying, no, I don't necessarily need that.
Yeah, I mean, this game is about the players.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? And I think that's what we tried to keep the focus on all week was the players, and I wasn't going to make any plays, and SMU's coaching staff wasn't going to make any plays, and it was about them, and it's always about those guys. And so, it's I'm proud of the way they played. As I said, I think we're certainly left some stuff on the table, and we'll learn from it and get better. But it's always good to get a win.
By the way, good to see all the Frog faithful out as well.
Yeah, it was really impressive. I mean, it was awesome. Probably a third of the stadium were TCU folks, and they were loud. And the best thing was they stayed to the end, and I know it was really hot, and I know they had some issues with concessions and all that, and appreciate the fans, staying to the end and cheering on our players, and I know it meant a lot to them.
Speaking of the heat, how'd your guys handle it?
Pretty well. We had a couple of cramps late, but I thought our training staff really, really did a great job of getting those guys cooled off on the sideline. We'd used a lot of different procedures and things to get guys cool. A lot of guys were getting ice baths and cold water shot different places in their body, and ice packs, and just everything we could do to get body temperature down. And thought our training staff did an unbelievable job of doing that. Our players really prepared leading up to the game by hydrating and doing all the things that we try to emphasize all the time. But our guys came through pretty well. We played a lot of snaps defensively. I wish we wouldn't have played as many as we did, but I thought those guys played hard all the way through.
You're speaking of the training staff. There was a point in that game where there was a problem with the chain gang along the TCU sideline. They were trying to work through an issue there, and I saw David Gable usher his guys out there real quickly. Let's use this moment. Every moment you can, right?
Yeah, we were trying to get as much water and Gatorade and stuff in the guys as we could, and you didn't want to waste any opportunity to hydrate somebody.
One issue in that game that had to cause problems, and that was no play clock. And then it felt like that play clock got shorter as the game went on. I mean, are you guys being told on the field? Are you being updated on where the play clock stands?
Yeah, so what they do is the very back official signals the quarterback when they've got 10 seconds, 10 seconds and signals them when he's got 5. However, coming off the sideline, from the first play of a series or after a timeout, there's a 25-second clock, and so instead of being a 40-second clock, and it's always shorter than your quarterback thinks. And so there were a couple of times where guys went out there, quarterback got lined up, and all of a sudden they're throwing a flag.
Right.
And so it was, I think the officials did the best that they could. I know the referee was trying to talk to Max. I know he couldn't hear him a couple of times, and so. It just wasn't a great situation with the play clock being out, but we got through it okay. We got a couple of penalties that could have hurt us, but luckily we were able to overcome them.
All right, let's talk about some of these highlights, and let's start with the tone that you set early on. You decided to take the football. You won the toss. You took the football. Darius Davis, about 8 yards deep, decides he's going to bring it out, and you drive it down the field and score.
Yeah, that's one thing that we felt like coming into the game. We really had a big advantage on teams, just because of our depth, and we've got a lot of guys that take a lot of pride in and playing on our special teams. And so, we talked all week about, hey, it doesn't matter how deep it is, how high he kicks it, we're going to bring it out. He brought it out. We got close to popping a big one, got a pretty good return. Obviously got another return later in the game, and then they decided to squib kick us after that. And, I think our field position ended up being about the 36 for the game starting out. So that was a big thing for us, is to be able to get that good field position so our offense didn't have to drive as far.
Kendra with a couple of big runs on this drive, and it set up the touch pass. I thought, and that I use that word because that's one of the areas that Max wanted to work on. I thought he put great touch on this throw to Savion Williams.
He did. The linebacker blitzed, and we were a little bit late getting off of a double team and picking it up, and Max did a great job of eluding the rush and made a heck of a throw to Savion. Really, like you said, showed a lot of touch. The defensive back tried to undercut him, and he threw it to the only spot where Savion could catch it. Savion made a nice play, and that's a good way to start. Anytime you can put a good drive together like that, especially running the football like we did. Kendra had 2 really big runs on that drive, and then to start with that kind of momentum is always important.
Then you get the touchdown run of 28 yards from Kendra again, your offensive line clearing the way.
Yeah, I thought we really played well in the run blocking. We gave up 5 sacks, which always is concerning. But I thought offensive line, played physical, played hard up front. We felt like we could run the ball going into the game, and I think we showed that we could.
All right, and then you're up 14-7 at this point. Drive it back down, and I love this play call, Coach, because it's a variation of what we've seen earlier in the season from you. You can tell there's a whole package here. You find Jared Wiley, the tight end, wide open.
Yeah, Jared did a really nice job of getting open down there. It's a heck of a play call. I thought it was really good. We showed a jet motion one way and kind of rolled out the other way, and Jared's one of those guys. He's really opportunistic when it comes to making plays, and he got his hands on the ball, did a great job getting the end zone, and we were up 21-7.
Then Darius Davis can make a quarterback look good. Can he pads those numbers? That's an 80-yard pass right there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's it's always nice when you only have to throw it like 4 inches and you can get an 80-yard touchdown out of it. But that's what you want. I mean, I think that's the one thing that we have on this team is we've got a lot of guys that can make plays. I think we've got great team speed. It's fun to watch guys do that when they have their opportunities, whether it's Amari DiMarcardo and the big run that he had, whether it's Kendra having some of the big runs he's had, whether it's just guys stepping up and making plays. Obviously, Darius has done it consistently. Tay Barber's another guy that can make plays, obviously Quentin. So it's fun when you have that many playmakers and those guys have an ability to get the ball and do something special with it. And I think we've got to continue to do a good job of thinking players, not plays. I think that's always important for us to make sure that we're getting the balls to guys that can do something with it when they get their hands on it.
28-14 at halftime. You come out in the second half, and to me this was a huge drive because you had given up possession, with the coin toss to start the ball game, and your defense keeps them out of the end zone in the opening drive of the second.
Yeah, that's always big. I think the first possession of the ball game, the last possession of the first half, the first possession of the third quarter, I think are always really, really important. I think it sets the tone for the day. And, our defense got off the field then. Wish we could have capitalized offensively and taken advantage of it a little bit more quickly. But we didn't play our best football offensively in the second half. We kind of hit a little bit of a lull in the third quarter, but I thought we made enough plays to give ourselves a chance to win.
Yeah, DiMarcardo with 2 touchdown runs in that second half. There's a guy, I mean, you talk about a terrific team player, one of those jail kind of guys, keeps everybody together.
Yeah. I mean, he is, you go back and you look at last year, and he was kind of a guy that was, at one time I think was the only healthy running back for a good bit of the season last year. And this year, he's one of those guys who came in, he's kind of under the radar. Everybody's talking about Kendra and talking about some of the other younger running backs we have, and he just makes plays. I mean, you can count on him. He's very mature. I mean, my goodness, he's working on his PhD right now. So it's really cool for him to have a chance to be around our young guys. He's such a positive influence on them. He's exactly the kind of teammates you want to have. It's great for a coach to be able to talk about him and just say, look, keep working hard. You're going to get your opportunities. Good things are going to happen. And oh, by the way, take advantage of this opportunity of being at TCU. I mean, he's already got his master's, like I said, and working on his PhD. And so he's a guy that has certainly taken advantage of this opportunity.
And oh, by the way, again, he's faster than you think, too. Showed it on that 63-yard run.
Yeah, he is. He did a great job spinning around. He got 360 and made a nice move, and he made a big play for us. And, again, he's been very, very consistent.
All right, Frogs win it in the 101st meeting against the SMU Mustangs. Coming up a little bit later on in the show, Coach will be back with us. We'll preview the matchup with Oklahoma, plus we'll get a little reaction from him to the postgame of this matchup, SMU and TCU. We'll do that when we continue with State of the Frogs with head coach Sonny Dykes after this timeout.
The Flying T Club provides the everyday TCU fan and alum the ability to specifically support TCU student athletes. Flying T Club offers 3 levels of memberships. The Flying T Club is a nonprofit organization supporting the brand development of TCU student athletes through a series of unique event-based networking opportunities, which are exclusive to our members. These events provide a great social engagement tool for our members and student athletes alike. Follow them on Instagram at Flying T Club or online at flyingtclub.com.
Texas-based Happy Water offers the best-tasting, sugar-free kids drink ever made. Happy Water comes in 4 delicious flavors that you can find at local retailers and on Amazon. Each pouch contains 0 grams of sugar, 0 calories, and 0% juice. Head to happydrinks.com for more information and to purchase Happy Water. That's HAPI drinks.com. Live happy, be happy, drink happy.
Back we come on State of the Frogs with the What's Your Beef question of the week. Coach, it's, it doesn't have to be a negative thing when you say that, as we talk about. Brought to us by our friends at Old Trapper Beef Jerky. All right, here it is. Luke Webb's question for you, Coach. Let's listen in.
Hey, Coach Dykes. I'm Luke Webb. I'm from San Fernando Valley in California, and I want to know what your pregame ritual is looking like.
All right, so what are any pregame rituals you have?
I don't really have much, honestly. It just kind of varies from week to week, depends on kind of what's going on. One thing I always enjoy doing is just going and sitting in the locker room with the players and just grabbing a seat next to some guys and just relaxing and trying to take in the atmosphere and just get a sense for what their mentality is and what's going on. And I think a lot of times that kind of determines what I'm going to say to them. You get a sense when your team's really ready to go out and play, and other times, you feel like you might need to light a fire under them. That's one of my favorite things about this group of players, though, is, man, these guys love playing football, and they really enjoy the competition part of it. They want to compete all the time. You don't have to beg them to get them to go out and play, and I think they just have a passion for the game. And so that's probably it, just sitting in the locker room with the players, trying to take in the atmosphere and trying to figure out, okay, what do these guys need to get excited and go play?
Coach Bryant used to lean on the goal post, right?
Yeah, he did.
You had other guys who look for stuff to do. They have to go warm up with the quarterbacks. You know?
I used to go out really early. Now I've learned to just go out a little bit later because I'm pacing around a lot of times, and so it's good for me just to go pace in the locker room.
All right, that's your What's Your Beef this week, brought to us by our friends at Old Trapper. Our one-play breakdown with Coach David Bowden comes up next.
Old Trapper Beefs. Last bag.
There's plenty for both of you.
Old Trapper, what's your beef?
Simply the best barbecue in Fort Worth. Dine in, catering, or drive-through. 2900 Montgomery, just off I-30. Remember, the best barbecue in Fort Worth is at Railhead Smokehouse.
Back, and it's Kendra Miller, play action to him, dump it left, caught by the tight end, and walking in and scoring is big Jared Wiley. Hit the horn for the Horned Frogs here with 9:16.
State of the Frogs continues now here from the football offices. We'll be back in Coach Dykes' office here shortly for a breakdown of that matchup with Oklahoma coming up on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. Right now, though, it's time for our one-play breakdown with Coach David Bowden, who joins us right now. Back at our studios, the Flying T Club studios. Okay, David, there's a play in the first half. Some may think of it as just a ho-hum, kind of a toss to the tight end. I thought this thing was a thing of beauty. Break it down for us, a touchdown pass to the tight end, Jared Wiley.
Yeah, Brian, it was a good play design here on the 8-yard line going in. So Jared Wiley's lined up here. They motion Gunnar Henderson across the formation, a jet sweep motion, and when they did that, they rock and rolled the safeties. And what that means is the safety for SMU on the strong side or to the play side rolled down, this safety rolled away, so automatically cleared up some space on the back end. From there, after they faked it to Gunnar, they faked it to Kendra Miller, and what that did there was freeze these linebackers. So the 2 inside linebackers stepped up just long enough for Jared Wiley to get across the formation. Okay, it also froze this linebacker here, so really there was no one on him. So the only guy that they had to worry about is the cornerback for SMU. At that point, Quentin Johnson came off the line, really slow, just kind of roll him to sleep, and then he blocked him. People were asking, well, why is he able to block on a pass play? That's because that Jared Wiley was behind the line of scrimmage, so they would give him the ball, and he was really just walked into the end zone on that one. So, full flow this way, Jared Wiley across, after 2 play fakes, flipped it out to him, and he gets an easy touchdown for the Horned Frogs.
Okay, for those who may not recognize all the nuances, you selected that one, though. What stood out? Why pick that play?
Right. So, yeah, I looked at that too. It was from the 8-yard line, nice touchdown and all. But why this play in particular is because the Horned Frogs and Garrett Riley has been building this play series off the jet motion since week 1. We've seen a lot of this going across on jet motion. We've seen guys come from this direction and then come back. We've seen that. We've seen jet sweep with the line of scrimmage. We've seen jet sweep away from the line of scrimmage, sort of freeze one defender and get around him. So we've seen a lot from there. Then they go and roll into Tarleton State, and we saw some naked bootlegs off of it, right? We talked about how they went, here and then naked and brought flood concept to that side off of that jet. And then we talked, last week, right, about how they could do much more off of that. And so this was the next step, bringing him in there and sort of running that screen to him. It's really like a glorified screen. And then later in the third quarter, off this same look, the only difference was the back was on this side now. Same play fake action here and here, and then Jared Wiley stayed on this side, and they ran just sort of a pop fake. So it brought these linebackers up with this action and able to pop it for a nice gain in the third quarter. And so, I wanted to show this because I really think this play series is going to continue to develop. There's a lot of different things you can do off of it. You can, some double passes, you can throw back. There's some nice screens, slow screens off of it. So the possibilities are endless, and I would keep an eye on this play series as we roll into Oklahoma and even beyond.
It's kind of like Jenga. They're just building on every week, right? Taller and taller, more options off of that play. That's Coach David Bowden joining us from back at the Flying T Club studios. A preview of the Frogs and the Oklahoma Sooners when Coach Dykes returns on State of the Frogs after this timeout.
Simply the best barbecue in Fort Worth. Dine in, catering, or drive-through. 2900 Montgomery, just off I-30. Remember, the best barbecue in Fort Worth is at Railhead Smokehouse. Say hello to the water of tomorrow. Richard's Rainwater. Richard's Rainwater is 100% rain, refreshing, renewable, and the only ingredient we use in our water. Why rain? Because everyone deserves access to clean water, and rain is a 100% renewable resource available everywhere. Drink the rain. Save the planet. Shop now at richardsrainwater.com.
Old Trapper Beefs. Tough snacks.
Out here, nothing comes easy. That's why you gotta be tough. My truck, it's tough. My crew, definitely tough. But Old Trapper taught me the value of tenderness.
Old Trapper, what's your beef?
Oh, it's a puppy.
Back with the final word with the head coach, Sonny Dykes, here as they get ready for Oklahoma on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. We'll talk about that matchup with the Sooners. By the way, it's the first time you've ever faced him as a head coach, I think.
It is, yeah, first time.
Yeah. We'll get into that a little bit later on. Post-game, though, SMU, two things I want to touch on. One, the conversation with Rhett Lashley, hugging a handshake.
Yeah.
A little extended conversation there.
Yeah.
And a lot of respect there.
Yeah, no, I have a ton of respect for Rhett, and he was gracious after the game, and it was great. It was good to have a chance to catch up a little bit, and there's a lot of emotion there just in terms of a lot of staff members that I worked with that are still there working for Rhett, and obviously all those players. And so, it was, just congratulated him, wished him the best, and he kind of did the same thing for us. And, I think SMU's got a lot to be proud of. The guys played really hard and played well, and, they're going to have a chance to have a good team. So it was encouraging to see them continue to get better and better as a program.
And then afterwards, you had your media conference, and you were asking about Max Duggan. And you showed a little emotion in that. That to me felt like, okay, this was you not necessarily as a head football coach, but just as a guy being around him.
Yeah, I mean, Max is one of those guys that you can't help but admire and respect. I mean, he's he just shows up every day, goes to work, and is just really incredibly unselfish. And a lot of people have a ton of respect for him. I mean, his teammates really admire him. They believe in him. You could really see it in the Colorado game. When Chandler got hurt, Max came into the game, and those guys never blinked, and Max certainly never blinked. And our players have a complete, total confidence in him, and they know what kind of leadership he's going to provide, how he's going to play. And you can make the argument right now he's playing as good as any quarterback in college football.
Yeah, you'll face a good one, too, on Saturday. Oklahoma comes to town at 11 o'clock. Give me some sense now. Oklahoma will come in as everyone likes to talk about the wounded tiger after losing to Kansas State. This is a quality football team, though, isn't it?
Yeah, really good football team. I mean, they were a top 10 team for a reason. They've got a lot of explosive players. They do a lot of different things defensively. I mean, they're a very hard team to prepare for defensively. You're just going to see every front, every blitz, every line movement, every coverage. I mean, they're going to really do a good job of keeping you off balance. You got to give your hats off to Kansas State. I thought they did a great job in the run game last week, and their quarterback played exceptional football and gave them a chance to win. But, it's a very good football team, proud tradition. I would imagine it's been a long time since Oklahoma lost consecutive conference games. I don't know how long it's been, but I'm guessing it's been a while. And so it'll be a big challenge for us. I know our players are excited for it, and I know we're looking forward to playing a game here at Amon G. Carter Stadium.
Yeah, in front of a sold-out house, too, as a matter of fact, here at Amon Carter coming up on Saturday morning. The one thing about Oklahoma that always stands out is their athleticism. They got them everywhere, don't they?
Yeah, guys that can run. Obviously got a lot of skilled guys on offense, always do. Running back's really impressive. Eric Gray, he does a nice job carrying the ball. Runs hard, is elusive. The strength of their team probably the last decade's really been their offensive line. They're always good up front. The guys are big. The guys are physical. They're well coached. They do a good job. And then, like I said, defensively, they're going to throw everything they got at you. And I've been really impressed with Dylan Gabriel and how he's playing at quarterback. Done a great job not turning the ball over and managing the games.
Is it different facing a left-handed quarterback? Does that sort of change the priority for an offense? And in turn, does that change how a defense attacks it?
I think it does. Yeah, I think it does for sure. You get used to playing so many right-handed quarterbacks that you kind of get into this routine about guys rolling certain ways and throwing across their body and all these type of things. And it's just a little bit different mindset as you start to prepare a defensive game plan. Good thing about it, Joe's played against a ton of these guys in the past, and he'll have the guys ready to play.
All right, Coach, looking forward to it. It's going to be a great day on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Looking forward to playing a home game. It seems like we hadn't played very many at home, only one so far, and so excited to get out here and play in front of our fans.
All right, that's head coach Sonny Dykes here. State of the Frogs for this edition here from his office. We get ready for TCU and Oklahoma coming up on Saturday at 11 o'clock. Full coverage here all week long at Frogs Today and FrogsToday.com. For the head coach Sonny Dykes, I'm Brian Estridge. Thanks for joining us. Have yourself a great week.
Roxo Media House.